Thank you so much. Good morning. Looking bright as always.
Morning. Thank you. You too. Thank you very much.
All right, the floor is yours now.
Thank you. Morning, viewers, and welcome back to another edition of Kakaki Cancer Awareness with Denise Ejo, the CEO of Comwood Cancer Foundation, in partnership with AIT. Together we fight, together we win. I want to thank you all for championing the cause of cancer patients across Nigeria. Let's see what 2025 gives us as it gives, hopefully gives us a second chance for all of us to have it. So what are we talking about today? Cherished moments, the lessons and love that shaped us. Life is made up of many moments, some joyful, some heartbreaking, and some that shape us in ways we never expected. Today we open our hearts to share deeply, deep personal journeys. One of resilience, one of love, and the impact of facing cancer as a family. I have today two very special people with me. Nicole Ejo, Omolua, where are you?
Hello, morning.
And Francine Ejo, Onyeme.
Morning.
Two very special people to me, and you've also noticed that they're both Ejos in one way or the other, my lovely, beautiful daughters. And they are going to be joining me to talk about this particular topic. Together, we'll reflect on the lessons learned, the fears we faced, and the love that carried us through. And that's them, not me. This isn't our story. It's a story of families everywhere who have walked this path of cancer. How does growing up with a mother fighting cancer shape their world? What memories stand out for them? What values are carried forward? And today we will have an open conversation about the moments that have changed their lives. So let's start this conversation. And I'd like to introduce them as individuals. Nicole. Nicole is a dynamic leader with professional and personal experience in education and community involvement, currently serving as one of the directors of the Common Cancer Champions Club, while she plays an impactful role in inspiring and mentoring individuals to reach their full potential. Nicole is also the of the Secretary General for the Youth Coalition Against Cancer, UCAC NCS, where she leads initiatives to support cancer awareness and advocacy. Nicole has held roles at American Express, where she's gained her own valuable experiences in leadership, service management, and team development, and has served as an enrichment coordinator for top schools in Lagos, Nigeria. She focuses, or let me just put it this way, she's a math teacher and enjoys being a tutor. I've done that intentionally. Welcome, Nicole, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And I got Francine. Francine is a dedicated, hello Francine.
Hello.
Francine is a dedicated advocate for social change, serving as the school representative for criminology, sociology, and social policy. With aspirations of becoming a chartered accountant, she combines her analytical skills with a passion for community engagement. As a social media advisor for CCF, she plays a key role in spreading awareness and mobilizing support for important causes. Additionally, Francine is committed to education. She is also a tutor of mathematics, and her diverse experience in social change makes her a valuable voice in the fight against cancer. So, ladies, I've done my fantastic introduction of both of you. Viewers, let's sit back, relax, and listen to what they have to say. It's not my experience, it's their experience, and how they have navigated and come about with their cherished moments. So, now, Francine, this is for you. Looking back, is there any moment in my life during or in my life, yeah, let me put it that way, during my cancer management journey that stands out for you as that has powerful or meaningful impact?
Um, yes, for sure. I think for me personally, the first time after I saw my mum after her diagnosis was a particularly meaningful moment for me, just because I think that was when I realized how our lives would change as a family and how her life would probably change as an individual. I remember myself and my sister, we visited her for half term, in October. I hadn't seen her since August when she flew to England very, very quickly after the doctors had told her that she had a tumor. Seeing her that day, she opened the door, I remember. She said, "Oh, hi, Fran." And then she turned around and I saw the bald spot on the back of her head with the scar. And I think I was really taken aback in that moment because it's just really shocking when obviously 2 months prior I'd seen my mum, she had hair, she was glowing, she was walking like straight, she was working, and then obviously now there was like a big difference that I think definitely impacted me and just changed the way that I knew that our lives was going to continue to go forward. I think also a moment that particularly stands out to me is our family trip to Amsterdam that we took in 2018. Myself, my sister, and my mum, we flew to England and we went to Amsterdam on a brief family trip during half term again. And I think just after that trip, my mum was going to have brain surgery and she had been taking steroids. So she just looked really different. I think that that's the crazy thing about this cancer journey. Like it really does depend on how you look. If my mum at the time, obviously just about to have brain surgery, she looked different than she normally does. During that trip, she had to use a wheelchair. She was struggling to walk. And I think those moments specifically, just having, she made us have conversations about what would happen after she died. And unfortunately, her being in the wheelchair just made it really emotional. I remember my sister telling her, "Mom, do we have to have this conversation while you're in a wheelchair?" And she was like, "No, it's not anything bad. I promise I'm not going to die." Um, but yeah, I think those moments where my mum didn't necessarily look the best, or it was a vulnerable time where she was about to have a surgery, were definitely very powerful and meaningful for me.
Mm. Thank you, Francine. Sometimes okay, let me talk for Nicole first, and then I'm going to come back because you guys tend to see things that I don't always know, and then I listen to you talking to other people, and I get it. How did watching my fight, Nicole? This is for you. This fight of courage with. How did watching Denise fight with courage and strength change the way you, Nicole, see challenges in your own life?
So honestly speaking, I believe it changed it massively, for multiple reasons. Typically, I'm not someone who thrives under pressure. I I tend to run away from my problems, or I would act as if they don't exist. So watching you take on cancer head on was an extremely new thing. Watching you on your journey, I was made to realize that you can take on challenges and you should take them on head on. Because if you had taken the approach that I typically used to take, which is act as if the problem doesn't exist, you probably wouldn't be here today. So in that light, I think watching you strive and continue to, fight the fight against cancer has told me that, Nicole, yes, life throws situations at you. You sometimes are in situations that you're not happy about, but tackle it head on. Running away from certain problems does not help you. You, they gave you your diagnosis and you took it. You said, okay, is that it? No problem. I'm Denise. I will handle it. And with that, I've been able to apply that to so many situations. Now, if something, I won't say terrible, something uncomfortable happens, I'm not really happy about it. My approach is more, well, life is about seasons. So let me live throughout this season and see what happens, as opposed to, running away or pushing it to the side. So yeah, I think your the way you handled your diagnosis and your treatment and your journey has influenced me positively. As my mum, you know me in my formative years, you know how I run away from my stresses and my problems. I think I've changed slightly today.
It's very nice to see both of you have changed, and sometimes I am very grateful for it. So I'm going to ask another question now, Francine. Were there times when you felt scared or unsure, and what helped you get through it, those moments? And I'm particularly careful with this question to you, Francine, because I was diagnosed when you were 11, going on 12. You were I wasn't there for your 12th birthday because I had just had brain surgery. So what were there times when you felt you, considering where you are now, about to graduate? So let's go on.
I think, like you said, having my mum being diagnosed with cancer from so young, there were definitely loads of times I felt scared or filled with anxiety. Specifically, I think this is very common, but I think about my mum dying. I recently told my sister and my mum this story about um, like there was a full year in secondary school where I used to be riddled with anxiety when I would go and visit my sister during my lunch breaks because my sister used to work in my school, and I used to walk from my class to see her during my lunch break, and she worked in the reception, so it was a good 4 minute walk. And in that 4 minute walk, I used to like mentally prepare myself for the bad news or that my sister would tell me that my mum had passed away. And I think that that walk, that 4 minutes, I would like trust myself it's going to be okay. If this is the day that they tell you, and it's going to be fine. And then when I'd seen my sister and she didn't say, it was like a breath of relief. But I would do that every day for like a year. And I think those moments really did shape me in a way. And I think having to deal with that head on, I definitely turned to God and I just asked for guidance and I continued to pray. I think specifically just as the years went on, seeing that my mum was okay, seeing that she was happy, seeing that she was still herself, definitely gave me comfort, and definitely made me feel more comfortable in knowing that my mum is a happy person and she's always been grateful. Um, my sister told me a story about when my mum was initially diagnosed, and my mum, like, she laughed, she smiled. The time we were robbed, she smiled. She's just a very happy person. So I think that definitely gave me comfort in knowing that no matter what happened, if she was to die, God forbid, um, that I know that she would like have lived a happy and fulfilled life. And I think I found comfort in knowing that.
Mm. Sometimes when people come and start saying things, man, you make it a bit harder for me. Okay, thank you, Francine. Thank you for sharing that. Whew. Okay, Nicole, what is one lesson that you've learned through words or actions that I've shared with you that will carry you or carry you forward in life, in
Yeah,
whatever decisions you make?
100%. It's to be positive. There's no news that they will give my mom, be it hospital, be it sad news. The worst she'll say is, well, they said this, so, but it's okay. I'll take it up with God, and I'll listen to what the doctors have said, but I'll take it up with God. That's that's your mantra. So I think, if anything that I've learned from you, it's the act of positivity. You every day, living with cancer, you have frequent hospital appointments, you are constantly going back and forth with the doctors, you take medicines every single day. So, of course, you're met with a lot of information, sometimes not so good. Literally every other month, it is, so Denise, we're going to refer you to this clinic. We may refer you to this clinic because of one pain or something, and nothing shakes you. You are literally, you're literally met with, okay, that's fine, but I'm not sure that that's what God has planned for me, but it's okay. Let's follow your treatment because you will always take the treatment. But you're confident in your faith and to say, okay, if this is my journey and God says yes, so be it. And I think because of that, you've been able to impact others to take on the battle. It is life changing. It's not an easy journey, but you have been so, so positive. There are days, yes, that you have cried. I can hear you sometimes, or we will see you and say, "Oh, mom is sad because you're tired," and that's very normal. You're going on almost 10 years of this journey of chemo, multiple surgeries, medicines every day. When you travel, we literally have almost half a box filled with your medicines. But yet you show up every day. You want to do everything to encourage other people to just keep going. So I think the lesson that I would say I've picked up from you is, again, similar to what I said in my previous answer, is to be positive. As Francine said also, you tend to be happy. When you were diagnosed, you smiled and you laughed. That's who you are. And I think that's also why you're still here today, along with great medical care.
I'm going to come back to you. You keep going on about when I was diagnosed. Tell me about that. Because I
Okay.
think from
That's
in a place where I least expect. So let me hear what you've got to say on that one.
so again, I'll summarize, but it was a two-part. You found out you had a tumor and you jetted off to the UK to get that addressed. So when you got to the UK, they said you have multiple tumors, Denise. We need to take those out with immediate effect. Once they did that, it became a case of doing the biopsy. So we went to a appointments to find out what exactly, was that about? What is the cause of the tumors? And they said, okay, I'm so sorry, Denise. We're here to tell you that we found breast tissue. So that means you have breast cancer with a metastasis in the brain. And once it becomes a metastasis in the brain, that's already stage 4. I'm like horrified. And my mum just, you just laughed. And I just looked at you and I thought, no way. We left the hospital all the way home. You were on the phone to different people, family members, and you're like, I've spoken to the doctor though. They said I have breast cancer with tumor in the brain. And I think from that day, I've never really wanted to follow you to the hospital again, which I do everything to run away from your hospital appointments. That's more Francine's strength and specialty. Me, I don't. But you were so calm. I cried. You laughed. And I don't think I've not seen you cry, maybe in your personal time, but when doctors tell you news, even when they told you that you're doing, I think, your 3rd brain surgery, which was in 2022, you don't cry. You say, okay, I'm not happy about it, but as long as this is what God has planned for me, and medicine says you need to do this, you do it. And I think that's why you're here to testify. You could have easily turned down multiple surgeries and said, you know what, I don't think I need it. I don't think faith can coincide with the doctors, and you are living proof of that. You've had 3 brain surgeries. Your brain surgeries used to give me the most anxiety because I've watched so many documentaries of people who don't wake up. Brain is a sensitive, I don't know if it's an organ, but it's sensitive. You've had 3, and your eyesight is fine. Everything about you is completely fine. So yeah, that was your diagnosis.
Thank you. You know what? It's time for us to let's start to wind off this conversation, because sometimes I think when I hear you guys speak, I think the emotions are quite raw, and you know me, I'm always laughing. Well, am I really laughing now? I can tell you I'm not finding it funny. So to my viewers, I'm not finding this conversation very easy to have. But yeah, that is the reality of this experience. So I'm going to round off now, 2 of you, and I'm giving you 1 minute each. How has this experience shaped the way you appreciate family, love, and even the little moments you have in life? Who is this one for, Francine?
I really like this question personally, just because I think after this experience and growing up with this being like a big part of my formative years, I think one thing I carry with me now in everything I do is gratitude. Especially now that I'm older and I understand that my life could have looked very different after my mom's diagnosis. I understand that she could have died. I understand that I could have lived a very different financial life. I could have been in a very different financial situation growing up, and may not have been able to access the same opportunities that I was fortunate enough to be able to access. I may not have even had the people that I had around me who were supporting me and guiding me through this journey. And for that, I'm so, so grateful. And I think just being filled with that grateful spirit growing up, I appreciate every single thing, every single moment that I have with my family, with my loved ones, and just everything that I'm able to have access to or do in life, just that bit more, I think. So yeah, just gratitude.
Thank you, Francine. And I wish you all the best when you finish your university this year. I really do. You've tried. You've done a good one. You've done a good one. I am proud of you. And to Nicole, if you could send a message to someone else whose parent is facing cancer, what would you say to them now?
I'd say hang in there, and I'd say be present. Take each day as it comes. It's not an easy journey, and not everyone's going to understand how you feel. Each day is different from the other, but hang in there, be positive, and be present. If they survive, again, you've bonded and you've created an experience that you cannot replicate. And if God calls them home, you know that you've spent the last few days or years living with them and just solidifying whatever relationship it is that you have with them. So my final advice would be to always try and be present.
Thank you both ladies for joining me today. We are all unique in this journey as cancer patients, and so together we fight, together we win. I want to appreciate both of you very, very much. Francine, welcome to the world of coming to do cancer awareness now in the public space. Um, now you're old enough, I can push you out. Thank you all viewers for watching. Thank you both. I hope you have a fantastic day. And to all our viewers, I say together we fight, together we win. we end this conversation. See you all next month. Happy Salah to the Muslims who are having the Salah at the end of the week. Thank you. See you all soon. Our message is very clear. Together we'll fight. Together we win.